You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Tiffany, you talked about being an organizer. I mean, obviously, we're operating now in a different world. And the old way of, and it's happening in some places, but the reality is you're not going to see massive door knocking. You're not going to see the walking of blocks. You're not going to see, the voter registration and information at big events like Essence or these different conferences or whatever. And so this is the moment for all these folks who think tweeting is voting to understand this is the moment when you stop with these bullshit TikTok videos and Instagram videos and this challenge and posting this on Facebook. This is the way you change by now being able to use these digital platforms and social media to move people, to register, to vote, and yes, to drive agendas.
That's right, to drive agendas. First of all, shout out to my leader, Reverend Barbara, who is an honorary board member for the NAACP and leader of mine, who I've known for a very long time. I'm very proud and excited about the movement that he has continued to lead and the work that he's doing. I agree with you, Roland, 100%. And so speaking of being an organizer, we know, like you said, not only can we not do the things that we used to do because we can't go outside in person, but a lot of times, young people's biggest platform or vehicle to register to vote and become civically engaged is at their schools and their campuses. And we know how that's going. That's either not going to open at all, or it's going to open back up in phases, or it's going to be digital. And so we're also looking at the entire generation of young people who are turning 18 this year for the very first time, and the young folks who typically fill out their registration ballot on campus, vote on campus, and then think that they're done. We have to use these digital platforms so that we can engage these young people. And I'm going to make an extra push. The work that the Youth and College Division is doing at the NAACP is focused on making sure that we prep and talk to communities and parents to have these conversations with young people so that they can understand their agency and power. It is so necessary that we take these conversations inside our own families, inside our own homes, at the dinner table, since we got to do that now, and make sure that we take the information online and we're able to have conversations and unpack it. Secondarily, we've partnered with Vote.org, a national nonpartisan voter registration app. It's super easy.
Yeah, in fact, I got it on the screen right now. Keep going.
Hey, look at that.
Baby, I got this.
I got you. So what happens is Vote.org. So Vote.org right here. Let me tell you something. First of all, this is black owned, one. Two, the CEO was a black woman. And so two, you can go to this site right now and do two important things. One, I want you to check your status. If you check your status on this site, which I have done, it'll let you know two things. One, where you have registered, and if you are registered indeed. We saw last year that folks were registering to vote, and then their voter pledge cards got purged because their last names weren't spelled the same as their light bill, or their ID was not the same as their last name. And so we want you to check your status. Also, we've watched across the country because of the pandemic, voting precincts have closed. And so this will actually tell you if your precinct has closed that you're usually going to. If you go to a park, or if you go to a school to register to vote, or to cast your ballot, it might be closed because of the pandemic. You need to check. So check your status on Vote.org. And secondly, if you are not registered, Vote.org makes it super simple. You can register at Vote.org. You can print out at home the actual voter registration card and drop it in the mail. Super simple, contactless. You don't have to touch nobody. You ain't got to talk to nobody. You can do it right here on the website. Also, you can vote by mail and all the other options that are there. Here's what I did, because I actually use this. I also signed up for the messages and alerts so that I can get the latest information and I can get my nonpartisan voter guide. So we partner with Vote.org and Politicking, the app, which is both on Instagram, both on the internet, both on a website, both easily on your phone. And here's what I want folks to do. Once you do the things for yourself, I want you to send that link to 10 other people. Hey, did you check your status? Hey, do you know if you're registered to vote? Hey, have you looked up your voter guide yet? Do you know what initiatives are on the ballot? Have you looked up the candidates, et cetera? We are our own organizers now, and we have to do this in relationship with each other. That's the only way that we're going to change this country.
Bottom line, Eugene, I keep saying this. You see it right now where Donald Trump is going to, you see the slowdown, the deliberate slowdown, the U.S. Postal Service. You see what's going on there. You see the games that they're playing. We cannot trust him at all. They will do, let's be clear, Republicans will do whatever they can to steal this election. We must leave no doubt.
I agree 100%. Look, elections are about power. And fights for power, you know, they're blood sport. They're zero-sum games. You leave nothing on the field of battle. You literally give it your all. And that's what Democrats, that's what independents, those are good-minded Republicans have to go into this election thinking. You have to give it your all. That's what it's going to take to beat Donald Trump. They will literally still kill and destroy to take this election to maintain power. Because for Mitch McConnell, for Paul Ryan at the time, for Mike Pence, for Donald Trump, it is about power. It's about, hey, we can detain kids at the border. It's about, hey, we can, militarize police forces and deputize them to roll out our agenda when we can't do it ourselves. I mean, it's literally comes down to power, and that's what people have to be reminded of for the next 91 days.
Amisha, again, when you look at their plans, the Republican National Committee wants to send 50,000 people to the polls to basically watch, but they're really going to be targeting people. We have to understand, look, they are going to try it. They're going to do everything. You already have experts saying that, yes, Russia is trying to impact the 2020 election. Ain't no hoax. It's real. And Donald Trump has no problem with them helping him win again.
He doesn't. And to be honest, Roland, Trump doesn't need foreign intervention. What Trump is doing and what the Republicans have been doing for years is creating a roadmap of how to steal elections, from mail-in voting and trying to reduce the level of efficiency that exists within that system, as well as people actually believing in it to begin with, appointing somebody to lead the Postal Service who he knows is going to make sure that your mail gets to you slower, that, a lot of the Postal Service offices are closing, they're budget issues associated with it, and he's trying to chop it as much as he can leading up to Election Day, in addition to not having enough poll workers, in addition to a lot of polling places closing. There are so many things that are lining up in his favor, and things that him and the Republicans have also, worked within, within their own willpower to make sure happens, that I think that we as Democrats and Democrats as a whole cannot just sit back and wait and watch. Yes, this is a turnout race. And yes, I agree with that, Tiffany, 100%. My first election I voted on a college campus as well. It matters that people recognize that that is for young people, typically where you register and where you vote for the very first time. So when we're moving away from that and acknowledging that young people, yes, are tweeting, they're hashtagging, they're doing their TikToks, but they also really want to be involved in this election. And it's our job to make sure that that's easier for them. There was a report that came out just 2 days ago showing that there's a huge access gap between young people and mail-in voting. As much as we would like to believe that mail-in voting is a be-all to end-all and this great wave that everybody can jump into and do, what we know is that there are several obstacles to mail-in voting, and we have to make sure that we diminish those as well. November is just around the corner, and there's just so much work left to be done. So I'm thankful for organizations like the NAACP, like the ACLU, like HBCUs across this country, and like this show, Roland, that are actually out here to provide that information and make people feel empowered, because everything is going to happen. The rubber meets the road in November, and people have to be ready.
Well, here's the deal. We are hitting this every single day. We're not letting a single day go by. And so I can tell you it's exactly what we're doing. And so we're going to keep that thing going. Trish Mays asked, can you inform me if I don't get my mail-in ballot, can I still vote in person? The answer is yes. But I want people, if you're going to request a mail-in ballot, there are 3 steps that I want us to do. The first thing is I want you to request your mail-in ballot now. Don't wait. Request it now. Go to vote.org. If you go to vote.org, as Tiffany said, Henry, go ahead and show it. It says here you can check registration, register to vote, vote by mail, get election reminders. And so when you click vote by mail, what it's going to do is it's going to take you to, you put your information in, and then it's going to take you to your state's website, in which will then determine whether or not how that particular process is. But let's say you still want to vote in person. Vote the first week of early voting. We cannot procrastinate and wait and wait and wait, But if you want to vote on Election Day, fine. But if you don't want to trust the mail-in balloting, and you want to vote in person, vote that first week of early voting and get it done. All right, folks, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have, you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.